All right, hello and welcome back, everybody. This is David with Fairmare's Rangers, and we are picking back up with our Week 1 battles on this Nation versus Nation tournament. It's a 4v4 multiplayer tournament, and this battle is going to be Austria as the home team versus Prussia. So this is going to be a fun battle, and we got a lot of Grenadiers taking the field in this one for Austria as they set up on Team 2 side, which is the easier side. And it's easier because, you know, you get more of the slope of the hill and you get more of the woodland to defend. So typically Team 2 has a little bit of advantage. So as you can see here, the Austrians on the bottom right flank are taking the woodland and securing that as a defense versus the Prussians, who are coming up on the Prussian left flank, and they're looking to possibly make a rush here, but it looks like they're just going to be dropping stake lines, using militia to protect their rifles. Other than that, the center player over here for the Prussians is just moving forward with a decent pace. The Prussian in the center at the top has already taken out 2 of the Austrian cav. It looked like the Austrians here in the center did a suicide frontal assault with his cav and lost his cav post with on that. Not really a great use of cav in that sense of the words. Over here on the Prussians' right flank, they are bringing up the rest of their army and are securing the hill. They don't have much to oppose them on the hill, so they should take the high ground and sweep over that hill pretty quick. Looks like all the Austrians are kind of focusing their power in the center, so we'll see what happens on this Prussian right flank, Austrian left, and see if something goes down there pretty quick. But really, a lot of the action's taking place here in the top center of the map, as the Prussians are really laying the lumber on these Austrians here. You see 2 cav just in the top of the screen on the left, getting some flanking shots in on the Austrians here. So getting disrupted and not paying attention gets you some line infantry shot on the flank, which isn't a good thing. Never a good thing, giving up free kills. Alright, so other than that, it looks pretty stable here. All things considered, with the Austrians taking the losses they are, the problem is going to be this flank. The Austrians are bringing up a little bit of men to help fortify that flank, but I don't know. Things are not looking good up there on this side. At the bottom of the hill, looks like the Prussians have moved a militia up into the woodland and forced back the Austrians a little bit there, but the Austrians are getting some flanking shots. They have their Wimbuche Jaegers on the extreme left of the Prussians. Did a little bit of damage there. It looks like the Prussians lost the cav going into the stake line there and getting shot down. So I'm not sure if they lost the whole thing. Nope, looks like all their cav is still there, so they just lost some of the men. And over here, the Austrians have lost an additional 2 units, and they are coming up with a pretty precarious situation here. I'm not sure if I'm liking these formations that the Austrian is coming up in. This is going to be able to take massive amounts of damage as they're about to lose another Grenadier unit here in the center. They are being supported by the flank player with the Grinzers. Getting some nice shots, some sweet Grinzer action with their double barrels. You gotta love them guys. They're just nasty. Putting some nasty damage down. Up here on the top flank, the Prussian player is looking to make an advance up here. So we'll see how the Austrians respond versus that. But it doesn't look like things are going well in the center at all. Just Austrian units continue to rout out. The Prussian cav has been pushed back on that center where they were getting some flanking shots. So here it looks like we're going to get a little bit of action up here on the hill. So we'll see what happens. The Prussians have moved all their militia up to take the initial damage. And the Austrians are forcing up the guards, looks like, in one line infantry. So the Austrians mean business here up on the hill, as these guards look to put down the militia pretty quick. Alright, looks like we got a bit of a Grenadier rush here, so we're going to get some explosive situations here. We'll see what happens. We'll see if they get out or if they take some damage from these grenade volleys, as those Hungarian Grenadiers lob them over. Looks like the Prussians are already running. It did take a slight bit of damage, but not bad considering. So here come the Prussians getting another grenade throw. We'll see what happens. They're screening with the militia in front. Got a little bit more damage on that. Not a whole lot. They are running. They are running, sir. As the Napoleon Total War people know that saying. Alright. Here we go. They're in the woodland here, so the Grenadiers going to be lobbing some more. They might get some damage in here. Yeah, they got a little bit, not too much. You can see some bodies hit the floor there. The Prussians are more interested in getting the hell out of Dodge, which is not a bad move. The Grenadiers are great for clearing woodland area. As you can see, they can do massive amounts of damage on highly condensed troops like these Prussians are very condensed and compact. Makes them really easy targets to take down a lot of men in a single grenade throw, as we're probably going to see here. Here come the grenades. This is going to be pretty bad. Yeah, just took out probably a good chunk of those guys. And we got some more grenade throws coming in. Prussians are going to have to run forward to avoid that lob, which they did. So, yeah. They're forcing now back the Grenadiers, as the Grenadiers have taken some damage and their militia's taken some damage, so they're going to have to fall back at this point. But they did buy some time on this flank, and the time has almost run out, as the Austrian player in the center has gotten pretty much devastated here. There's another unit routes off the field, and over here on this side, not much is happening here, although the Prussians are getting some nice damage in on that center. Other than that, it's pretty quiet. Another Austrian unit routes, and yeah, this is definitely not looking good for the Austrians here in this center position. Everywhere else seems fairly stable. The Grinzer's getting the shots in over here. And they're still holding back this flank. Honestly, with all these Prussian troops, they should be able to sweep this hill. That should be able to happen, because there's not much opposing them for the Austrians here. But other than that, let's see what's going on in the center. There's a little bit of a rifle skirmish between the Winbuchet Jaegers and the Prussian Jaegers. The Prussians are going to be throwing forward some line infantry to force those Winbuchet Jaegers back. And that is working. Over here on the flank, not much happening. They're getting some sweet light dragoon shots in on the Austrian line there. Got a little bit of damage, not much. With that, this is pretty quiet. We'll see what this Prussian push is going to do. It looks like they're taking some pretty good losses here doing that push. Those Winbuchets are just lighting them up, as you can see. They don't have to reload. They just continually shoot, which is a pretty nice nice little aspect to those Winbuchet Jaegers. Over here, there's Austrians are still holding back the Prussians in the center, but there's not a whole lot of left in that center, and there's definitely not much left on this flank to oppose them. So here come the Prussians slowly moving that flank over. The Austrians going to have to reinforce over here in the center as this force here, the last 3 units here, are getting pretty much devastated there. That definitely, it looks pretty stable on the bottom. All right, looks like the Austrians are going to start moving forward, making an aggressive move here in the center, pushing back the Prussians. So a little bit of cat and mouse here. Prussians getting in a hussar charge. Looks like they're going to get it in too, because the Prussians are still forming up their line infantry, smack into the middle of that line. They're going to start pushing into the Wimbushé Jaegers, possibly taking them out. That'd be a pretty bad loss for the Austrians, as those Wimbushés are pretty important to that army. The Prussians are losing a little bit. It looks like they might have brought 2 of the hussars in. They smash in and get pretty good hit, though, honestly. But we do have some Austrian light dragoons getting them in the back there. Here comes another Austrian cav, getting some shots on the flank. But that has left the Austrian lines in disarray, so now the Prussians are starting to make another advance. Prussians in the back are starting to fall back. It looks like our player of the Prussians on the bottom left of the Prussians, bottom right of the Austrians has dropped. So one of the Prussian players has dropped, so it's going to be more important for these 2 players on the top to really finish up the top, because the Austrians are losing on the top, but they're winning at the bottom part of this battle, in the bottom slope of the hill. So it's important for the Austrians to win this bottom fast, and important for the Prussians to win the top fast. And that should even up the odds a bit either way. Okay, so you can see that the Austrian over here on this flank is going to make short work of the remnants of this Prussian army that is now AI controlled. And I think one of the Austrian players does drop at some point. I'm not sure exactly when. And then another Prussian player drops. So not sure exactly on the timing, but we should be able to see with the troops going kind of chaotic. I know both of all the top players remain in the fight. So yeah, things are definitely not looking good for the Prussians here, as the Grenzers now coming from the top flank are going to look to get some shots in on the Prussians here, as they're trying to make a hasty retreat to the center of the battlefield, and they get some shots in them on the flank of that unit. And yeah, you can see how the Austrians are now taking complete control of this part of the battlefield. So definitely not a good situation for Prussia right now. But you can see the massive amount of Prussians up here at the top. There's not much opposing them. They just got to get in there and get dirty. And the Austrians just got to hold them off long enough for those bottom players to win their fight. That's the real key here. And luckily there's a lot of Austrian guards here to defend this woodland. And that should help slow them down a bit. There's a couple Grenadiers, the Hungarian Grenadiers that were from earlier up on the top of the hill. But you can look here, there's just 3 light dragoons and 1 line infantry holding back all those Prussians. So you got to take advantage of that number advantage there. They're just not getting that done. Over here, not much else happening. All right, so looks like we're getting to a breaking point up here on this part of the battlefield. The Austrians are starting to fall back, moving their guards out. And they're going to start taking some pretty bad damage on these 2 line infantry holding the line while the important guards get out of this fight. So those 2 line infantry heroing out. As you can see, they're moving to the center hill to make their last stand there. And over here, the Austrian player is fairly slow about pushing this flank. I'm not sure. This player might have dropped at that point. And yeah, looks like the Prussian center player is still human controlled. But you can see here, definitely this is AI controlled general making that charge in there. So yeah, at this point the Austrian on the flank is now AI controlled, on the bottom flank that is, and as is the Prussian is AI controlled. So kind of unfortunate, but it is what it is. As you can see, situation looking grim for the Austrians up here. Not a whole lot holding the line there. A couple Grenadiers and a couple line infantry as the guards are making a fortification here. But you can see it's basically light dragoons versus light dragoons here. Austrians have crammed most of their men into that little alleyway, which is not wise versus all those guards. Unless you just straight up melee. Okay, so yeah, things are really getting chaotic over here on this part of the battlefield. Looks like the other Prussian player has dropped at this point, so we now have one Austrian that's dropped, and 2 Prussian players are now AI controlled. All these are human players up here at this part of the battlefield, and we're going to have, it looks like the Hungarian Grenadiers are going to try and lob some more grenades. Here come the grenades on this superior line infantry, and they're getting those grenades going off smack dab in the middle of them. And that's going to lay waste to that poor soul as he was trying to run, but it's going to break anyway. And so it's basically these 2 lines and 2 Grenadiers holding the vast majority of these units back. So using the Grenadiers to force them back to buy some time is not a bad move. But they're going to end up losing these Grenadiers as they rout off. And that now all that force that was holding them back is done. The Prussians are coming around on the flank, as is the AI coming straight at them down here. So we'll see how this ends up. This is pretty much coming to the end of the game. Everything is going to basically depend on how well the Prussians play at the top of the hill here. As you can see, the Austrians using 1 line infantry to screen for the guards. And as they try to whittle down these Prussians on the flank, the Austrians are outnumbered. So it is going to be basically a use of superior tactics. They got 2 Grenzers, 2 guards. That's some pretty mighty firepower versus some Prussians line infantry and I think a 2 superior line. Have to take a look at that and see. 1 Jaeger, 2 Jaegers versus the 2 Grenzers. So that's a fair match, except the Grenzers are probably a little bit better as they look to get through that little gorge there. The Prussians are on the retreat. Over here, the Prussians are now going to start looking to put some pressure there. Actually, this looks fairly even as far as numbers go. It's just unfortunate the Prussians are at a disadvantage because of the AI. Over here, you can see the Austrians getting some nice shots in. They do have 2 line infantry and 2 guards, 2 Grenadiers. 2 Grenzers helping with that push. The Prussians are starting to lose quite a bit of men, leaving bodies on their trail out of the fight. pressure of the Austrians is trying to keep them in that spot to kill their force there. And here you can see they're holding that ground with those guards. And the Prussian life guard doing some dirty work against the Austrian lines over here. A lot of bodies on the floor, a lot of horses too. A lot of death and destruction. A lot of guards here for the Austrians left, though, so this is not looking favorable for Prussia. And it looks like this flanking force of the Prussians is coming to an end. There's only the Jaegers and a line infantry, I think, left. And this unit here that's in melee is going to die. So now the Grenzers are going back over to help these two guards. As you can see, the guards holding up here pretty well. They're in square formation, holding the line versus the Prussians. Prussian superior line versus guards. One of the Prussians is routing. General's bodyguard is going to get shot if he doesn't get on the move. Looks like he's going to get shot no matter. All right. A lot of the Prussians are starting to give way here, starting to rout. Like I said, there's just too many guards of the Austrians left. The Prussians are putting up a pretty good fight over here, considering. And the Prussians have lost this portion of the battle over here. As you can see, there's not much left. The Austrian general is getting a charge in. That's going to put an end to him. All those superior lines did die off. And just this militia, which should rout out fairly quickly. So this fight looks like it's going to go to Austria. So I hope you did enjoy this. Once again, this is a 4v4 multiplayer match for our Nation versus Nations tournament. And Austria was the home team. It looks like they're going to go to 1-0, and Prussia will drop to 0-1. Now, Prussia will have another chance to face off against Austria, as we are playing a round-robin type of tournament. So there's still a chance for them. Think of this tournament almost like the NFL football season of Empire Total War, as the Austrians wrap up this match. So I will be posting a video to wrap up week 1, so you can see the results and where all the different nations stand at this point, and preview the upcoming battles for the next week's matches. We still have one more battle left in this week, and that should be a good one. It's going to be Spain versus the Huron and the Iroquois. So I hope you're going to look forward to seeing that match. Should be a pretty fun one. All in all, I appreciate you guys joining me on this tournament here. And we will see you on the next battle as the Austrians take it to the house in the first battle. Going 0-1 versus the now 1-0 versus the now 0-1 Prussians. All right, we'll see you on the next battle. Thanks again, everybody.